All right, welcome back in. Hanging with Hester, presented by Richards Honda. I'm excited to welcome back to the show our next guest, the new Director of Player Development at LSU, Kelvin Sheppard. Shep, my man, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you bringing me on. And under these circumstances, I wouldn't be any happier to be joining you today.
I appreciate it, man. I know fans are excited about it when the news kind of broke earlier this week. We started having fans reach out to us. You got to get Shep back on the show. They're excited about it, Shep, and I know you are as well. And I know this is an off-the-field position, but the chance to be able to help mold these young minds with your experience, playing so many years in the NFL, winning a national championship in college, I know that's something that excites you to be able to help these guys and create that path and to really help their vision to get to the professional ranks and succeed not only on the field but off the field as well.
Absolutely. Because like you said, I mean, we've both been through it. As players, it's taxing, both mentally and physically. And being there when you're in it, you have the former guys come back and so many guys telling you this, that, and other, this, that. But it's different when you have a real example. They have guys like you come back, Stilts, Cotrera, guys, Patrick Peterson, Tyron. And I think that is huge. And I know what it did for me and the impact that those things had for me, those guys coming back, spending that time with me, having a mentor in your life, not just people who never walked in your shoes just telling you, you need to do this, you need to do that. Well, where's your proof to show me I need to do that, where that is successful, that works? And I think especially in today's generation with these kids, the way they're growing up with social media and all these things, they like to see things. When they're taking a trip, I mean, even with myself, I find myself, if I'm taking a trip, I look it up. I want to see where I'm going.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that I add to this staff coming in with this tremendous opportunity Coach O has granted me, allowing me to be the director of player development. They have a real figure in front of them that did it. I wasn't an in-state kid. I'm an out-of-state guy. I came from Georgia. And my path wasn't the smoothest. When I got to LSU, I mean, everybody believes they're the guy coming out of high school. I'm the guy. I'm the superstar. So when I get to college, you come in with the level of, I guess, like I belong, and that's my spot. But I ran into a wall where I was redshirted my first year, which you remember because you were my teammate.
Right.
And, instead of putting my head down, I talked with my parents, talked with Coach Pelini, and talked to people and figured out how can I have the biggest impact on this team, although I'm redshirted. And I found it with my passion for the game, my enthusiasm. I was the guy with the towel, my red shirt, on the sideline, getting everybody pumped up. I've always been about things that are more than myself, the team guy, and I think it all has come full circle with this role.
Shep, I'm glad you mentioned being an out-of-state guy. I was the guy, I was from in-state. I was from Shreveport. And during my freshman year, there's always going to be trials and tribulations, right? But I had, former high school teammates. I had people that I went to high school with that came to LSU. My girlfriend, my parents, everybody was only a couple hours away, right? And so I did have that outlet. And our freshman year is so tough. How difficult was it being from the Atlanta area, coming from Georgia, and really not having anybody with you? Because I feel like that's somewhere where you can really speak to each one of these young athletes saying, hey, I didn't have a chance to go home. I went through this, and you have to lean on someone to get through this because no matter who you are, that freshman year is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and pretty much like you said, it's a very complex situation for guys being out of state, especially that first year. And I can reference just and compare my situation to a good friend of mine, Jake Cotrera. We both were linebackers, came in together, so we naturally were around each other a lot. And I could vividly remember him telling me our freshman year, hey, man, I'm about to run home and see my dad. I'll be back tomorrow. And me thinking, man, that must be nice. I haven't seen my parents in 3 months. But, at the same time, I think that is what I have, a sticking point that shows how strong not only the LSU football team and the fans, but the Baton Rouge community, the way it embraces you as a person. The second you sign, the ink dries on that letter of intent, you're truly family. And I know that's a go-to line for everybody nowadays. Your family, when you come here, your family. But I'm a real form example of it's real. It's not them blowing smoke. It's not them just trying to get you down here. We're the national champs. There's not much you have to sell. But when they say that, they truly mean it. And the way the community embraced me, the way I went about my business and conducted myself, I think it allowed me to get a sense of home. I mean, my fiance to this day, we're both from Atlanta, and she's probably told me 10 times since I've accepted the job, "You're going home. You're going
Yeah.
home." When, you know, it sounds crazy, but to me, it really feels like I'm going home. I mean, when I'm in Baton Rouge, I never need to use my GPS. When I'm in Atlanta, it's sad to admit I have to use my GPS getting around some of the newer areas. But,
Hey,
I mean, it speaks volumes about that entire community there.
I think you're exactly right. That's a great point that you make, and something that I think, and I know you won't talk good about yourself. That's just how humble you are. But I do think you spending so much time in the NFL, having such a long career after you left LSU, the thing you're going to get from day one from these athletes is you're going to get the respect and you're going to get their attention, which no disrespect to someone who didn't play, but you've been
Right.
through every situation that could possibly come up for them. And you also know the end goal. Everybody who plays at a place
There
like
you go.
LSU wants to get to the NFL. They want to have success. They want to get vested. You played 9 years in the NFL, right? They want to get
Yeah.
to that point. So I think from day one, that's something that you can run with.
1,000%. And it really gets me fired up and gets my chili really boiling when I came down on my visit. Happened to be the final day of the spring fourth quarter program, and just so happened they ended up doing it in the afternoon on this day, and I was able to step in and watch. And I made it a point to not say a word. I just wanted to watch them work because some of the younger guys might not know my face or they might not know who I am.
Right.
And I wanted to see how they worked without knowing who I was, what my position would be, just a guy in there watching. And I did that on purpose to see how guys reacted to adversity, who's willing to push when they're tired, because it tells you a lot about the makeup of a person. Yeah, you can work with people and help them mentally, but you can never change a person's heart. A person's heart and what they have on the inside, what they're willing to give you daily, what they're willing to go through and come out on the other side of, that's just the makeup of a person. And what I saw, I was really blown away. And I told Coach O, I can't wait to get to work. And then, it got topped by Damone Clark reaching out to me on 2 occasions now. It hasn't even been a week. On 2 occasions saying how he can't wait to get in the film room with me, how he's looking forward to me bringing out his full potential, how in the classroom he knows it's not all about what you do on the field. For a sophomore to be texting me things like that, that already, has me ready to drive to Baton Rouge right now, to get to work, man. It's going to make my transition from a player to what I view this as is a mentor in helping these guys not only get to the NFL, but like you said, their end goal, man, because there's so much more in life. I had what some people will say an illustrious career, and I'm only 32.
Yeah.
My life, I feel like, is just now beginning, and for these guys, I think to hear it from someone, like you said, that's done it will stick, I think, a little more.
Shep, I know it had to be good for you, and we're catching up with Kelvin Sheppard here on Hanging with Hester. I know it had to be good to see Bo Pelini, to get back with Bo, because when I saw him for the first time, man, we picked right up where we left off. So many years ago, 12 years ago, I was giving him hell for liking the Cleveland Indians. He was giving me hell for liking the Atlanta Braves, and we just picked up, just like I said, where we left off. I know it's got to be good to be able to work with him as well.
1,000%. Like I said, with an opportunity like this, a lot of people aren't afforded it, and I realize that. I know I'm not entitled to anything in life. I'm not walking in here like, this is what I did at LSU. That's the past. Just like the guys have heard from Coach O, and I'll preach the same message. You can put those rings we won last year in the trophy case, man.
Yeah.
Because that means nothing now. It's about the next thing, and I think Bo is the perfect guy because, if you look at his track record and his history, it's very illustrious. The things that he has on there and the opportunities I had to study under him and play for him, I know the things he's taught me that I still carry to this day. And the fact that I'm able to now go from being a player for him to a coworker and helping him develop these men, it's literally, the guys say dreams come true, but it's literally unfolding like this is what I was meant to do. This is what I was born to actually do. All those years of playing, preparing, game planning, being a team guy, team first guy, all those years, I thought it was because it was built for me to make it to the NFL. But then once I got to the NFL, I still felt like I had more. I have more. This isn't my end game. And now I feel like all those years were preparing me for this position that I just accepted.
That's awesome, Shep. And I kind of want to talk to you about, maybe how you got to this point and how you became passionate about helping young people and getting into the coaching world. Because I know for me, like, I'm not doing what my degree was. I was a kinesiology major. I wanted to go to PT school. So for you, when did that click? Because for me, it was I was doing radio in San Diego by chance. Somebody asked me to guest host the show. I did it. I love it. Fell in love with it. I tried to get reps every single day after that. For you, when was that moment you knew this is what I want to do?
To be honest, probably I would say realistically around my 6th year in the NFL. And the reason I could point to that is the moment where I was like, I'm going to give coaching a shot when I'm done, because I had just signed a free agent contract in New York. I was in Miami. I was coming off a 100-tackle season. Everybody expected me, to get a huge contract in Miami. Things blew up. The GM was fired. The head coach was fired. Everything was. And then everybody was like, oh, well, the new regime's going to pay you. The new regime come in. You know how this works, Hester. Yep. I don't get a call from the new regime. So it's time to move on. I end up signing with the New York Giants. And when I got there, it was a very competitive room. I mean, we probably had about 5 to 6 guys that could start. And I'm like, man, they told me come here. I'm a son. So I worked my butt off like I do everywhere else. And the thing that separated me and the reason I was a day one starter, and this was told to me by my defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, who's now the defensive coordinator of Kansas City, and my head coach, Ben McAdoo, who texted me, congratulating me yesterday and booking himself a spot on my future coaching staff. They told me it was because of your mind. Once you get to that level, it's everyone's fast, everyone's strong, everyone's physical. We're all men on that level. You have to find something that separates you from the rest of the pack. And I knew my advantage was the way I was able to learn and process information faster than others, and the way that I was an accountable guy when I was on the field. I've always been that guy, my teammates, if they didn't know to play. I don't care if we're competing. I want to help you. I want to help guys. That's just been my makeup. I don't know if you remember, but from the 2007 season, the national championship, Stelsey them sent me a picture of me in the middle of the kickoff circle, rocking the circle. I mean, you had guys fighting to be one of those 11 guys on that kickoff team. You remember that, Ed?
Absolutely.
And Stel said, Shep, do you remember that you were a young pup, but you were the one in the middle? And I'm like, you're right, man. It's just always been my makeup to be a team guy. But I go back to the 2016 season because Coach Spags would always tell me, because I always was that guy the night before, real paranoid. I want to know every answer. I want to be able to help every guy. So I would go to him the day before. I figured out they game plan for the next practice. They do the scripts the day before. So I would go to him and, Spags, I really want to make sure we got this. This guy's uncomfortable with that. And he would always look at me and say, you'll be a hell of a coach one day. And he always would tell, Shep, you'll be a hell of a coach one day. And then I signed back in 2017, and he told me I was fighting to get you back. You'll be a hell of a coach one day. I'm like, damn, all of my teammates started. It started to gravitate around the facility. You'll be a hell of a coach one day. You have a great mind for the game. And, I sit back and I'm like, you're right. The things that I do on the field, what's different if I was to put on a headset and take the pads off? And it started to make me realize, and after my 2017 season, I hit a kind of a rough patch after my 7th year because I went unsigned through training camp.
Right.
And I couldn't understand why. The Week 17 game of my 6th season was the best game I've had in my entire NFL career. If you ask me, I had 2 interceptions. I was rolling that day. I'm like, so here we go. Adversity hits again. My agent can't understand it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put my head down and grind, and I'm going to take advantage of this moment. And I have a stepson who's now 10, and at the time he was 9, and he was playing recreational football for Cooper City Optimists. So when I was signing him up, I kind of mentioned to his head coach, I'm around. I'm not sure, I could get signed any week. You know how this thing goes. If you need any help, I can help you out.
Yeah.
Well, that transitioned to me coaching the defense and calling plays on Saturdays in the morning for my stepson's 9U football team. And when I tell you my life, I feel like it's all meant to be exactly how it's unfolded. I end up coaching my stepson's football team, and the game we lost in the playoffs, I cannot make this up, was a Saturday. On Monday, I got a call from the Detroit Lions that they wanted to bring me up because I had worked out for them in the offseason, and they signed me. The Monday, we played Saturday, lost in the playoffs, I signed Monday. Man, and I walked into Detroit on Monday.
Yeah.
And I finished. I played the duration of those 9 weeks, finished that season. And after that 2018 season, I'm like, I'm not just going to sit around here again. That's not me. I'm a worker. I like to get out. I like being around people. I'm a people person. I want to give back. And that's when I started modeling all last year and, doing my network deals and making phone calls, letting people know I'm interested in coaching.
Man, that's awesome. Same story for me. I was helping high school football. The season ended on a Friday. I signed with Denver on a Monday, and great story. Hey, you and I, man, we have so much in common. Again, we're catching up with Kelvin Sheppard here, the new Director of Player Development over at LSU Football. Hey, last one, Shep. I know you've got to go. I know you're trying to get to Baton Rouge. What is the plan? You're going to be here pretty soon, going to be here over the weekend and kind of hit the ground running?
I'll be there Saturday, and I'm hitting the ground running for the first spring football practice. And when I tell you, I thought I was excited as a player. I'm over here sweating doing this interview with you right now, Hester, man. I'm going to be out there fired up. You're going to hear those pads popping. It's going to be a good day, man. The smell of that grass. I'm really excited. I'm really fired up. I hear we got some guys coming in for junior day, some parents. I'm excited to meet all of them. I'm excited to just get back and get going and hit the ground running, like you said.
That's awesome, Shep. Man, I cannot thank you enough for your time. I know you're trying to get everything in order before you come back to town. It's so good to have you back. I'm glad that you've gotten this opportunity. I'm glad LSU realized that you were going to be an asset to the program, Shep. You're a friend of the show. You're a friend of mine. Great teammate. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, brother, for having me. And you got me anytime, man.
All right, man. I will see you this weekend. Can't wait.
All right, Head.